Hello and welcome to Best WP7 Games. Today we're looking at Bubble Burst 2. And even from the start you can see it's quite a plain looking game. There's no background music, that's the same throughout the game, just very quiet, very simple game. There's 3 different modes: Classic, Marathon and Rush. Well, let's start with Classic. It's a sensible place to begin. So you can see you're presented with a screen filled with bubbles, and your job is to burst them. You can only burst bubbles that are matched up, 2 or more, and you get a higher score, an exponentially higher score, depending on how many you burst. So you get 2 points for bursting 2 at the same time, 6 points for 3, and as you sort of see there, I got 72 points from however many bubbles I just burst. So generally you want to try and get as many clustered together as possible, and then to get the higher scores. So you'll burst lots of small sets of bubbles in order to get one massive cluster of colour. Now, as this is Classic mode, notice that every time I burst bubble, I'm not getting any sort of replacements or anything. There's no timer or anything. Simply, you play until you have no more moves, at which point the game ends, and you find out how good your score was. You can also see whenever I clear an entire column, everything shifts right. So you have to account for that in the later stages, as well as the fact that you can drop bubbles. So you also want to make bigger clusters by moving everything right into contact with itself. Okay, that should be it. There we go. So my final score here is 302, which for me is a new high score. For most people is probably not very good. I don't play Classic mode that much. Now we'll look at some of the other modes. We'll skip Marathon for now. We'll go on to Rush. Rush is the same as Classic in that you're given a single screen and you don't replenish bubbles. However, you're on a 60-second timer, which you can see at the top there. And in fact, once you get down to having no more moves, you'll get a new screen of bubbles. So your aim is to basically clear the bubbles as fast, as efficiently as possible, as well as trying to get the clusters. So it's a bit more fast-paced than Classic mode. And actually, this is my preferred mode of play. I quite enjoy this system. It's perfect because you know exactly how long you're going to spend playing it, 60 seconds. So yeah, I'll quickly try and clear this. There is a reason not to just try and burst the bubbles as quickly as possible, to try and focus on clusters, aside from the fact you get bigger scores directly that way, and it's this. When you run out of moves, you lose 2 points for every bubble left on the board. Whereas, you only get 2 points for a pair. So that costs you quite a lot. And we'll go and have a look quickly at the challenge mode, and I'll show you also marathon gameplay. That challenge mode is different from the normal modes in that you're not given a randomized set of bubbles. In fact, it's a preset system. And each day these change around, or each week. But so you can compete on a level playing field with anyone else in the leaderboards. It's a really good idea, and the fact it limits you to 10 retries is nice too. It means that people with far too much time on their hands can't just keep playing until they win by default. Anyway, as you can see, the difference with challenge mode, with marathon mode, sorry, is that for every set of bubbles you burst, you get a replacement. I think the way it works it out is that it takes however many you burst and then removes one of those, so you're always losing 1 bubble per set burst, which means that, again, ideally you want to be bursting large numbers of bubbles, because if you burst 2, you're only getting 1 bubble back. That's only a 50% return, whereas if you remove 10, you get 9 back. That's quite good. But anyway, other than the randomized dropping bubbles, but I'm not sure if they are randomized or if they follow a set pattern, but aside from that, this works the same way again as Classic mode. There's never any major deviation in the 3 gameplay modes, so it's very easy to also know what you're doing. That's pretty much it. I'll skip forward a bit here, as this mode does last a long time, as obviously you're constantly getting small amounts back. So yes, there we go. Ran out of moves, 848 points. Again, a new high score, as this is the first time I've done that level. There's not much else to say about Bubble Burst. It does have, aside from leaderboards, it has awards. So it's not a live enabled title, so you don't actually have achievements, but it's exactly the same idea. It gives you points as well as the actual badges. It's quite a nice touch, gives you an extra reason to play. And that's it, that's Bubble Burst 2. It's available on the marketplace now, and it's completely free.